In this video, I'm going to explain the basics of climate policy. What is a policy? A policy is a set of rules or procedures that must be followed in specific situations, and they're typically established by governments or organizations. Policies can be used to achieve a wide range of goals and to achieve compliance with a set of laws or regulations. So a climate policy are rules and procedures created to address the issue of climate change. Some examples of climate policies are setting greenhouse gas emission reduction targets, investing in clean technology, implementing a carbon tax or a cap-and-trade system, incentivizing electric vehicles, energy efficiency standards, or measures to help communities and ecosystems adapt to climate change. Here are the 10 steps to creating climate policy. Step 1 is assess the current situation. What is the underlying issue you're trying to solve? What is the current state of things? What are the gaps or the challenges that need addressing? Try to break things down into first principles and gather research and evidence to support your idea. Maybe even try talking to people within your organization or conduct interviews. This is the starting point for developing a policy. Step 2 is to establish goals and targets. Establishing measurable and clear goals and targets for what you want to achieve with a policy is critical. The more specific you can make them, the better. And it should be informed by science, by facts, and or data. Step 3 is to develop some policy options. Develop a range of options based on the goals and targets that you set and want to achieve. Some policy options can include new regulatory measures, incentives, taxes, creating a new program, establishing a new fund, capacity building and training. Sometimes the problem you're trying to solve may require multiple policies. Once you've developed a set of policy options, now is step 4 to conduct a cost-benefit analysis. Evaluate the costs and the benefits of the different options to determine which policies are the most feasible and potentially effective. Step 5 is to take that assessment one step further and to look into the potential impacts of those policy decisions. How could they affect the environment, social, or economic conditions? Step 6 in policy development is stakeholder engagement. It's critical to engage with stakeholders, the public, to gather the information, to get feedback, and build support on the policy you're developing. Once you've done your engagement, step 7 is to select the preferred options based on all the previous steps. When you have your approach, you're on to step 8, which is getting buy-in or support. This is where you make your pitch to management to get their support and buy-in on the proposed policies that you're planning to develop and implement. This is where clear, concise communication is essential. You need to present the facts, the science, to show a robust case to make the policy and to get their agreement. It needs to justify why the policy is needed and how it will solve the current challenges. You also need to be honest about what are the potential risks. Step 9 is implementing the policy. So this is assuming you've got buy-in from management. And this is usually done by preparing a policy implementation plan or strategy. This can involve developing legal or institutional frameworks, establishing monitoring systems, and enforcement mechanisms. The last step, step 10, is to monitor and evaluate. So once your policy is implemented, your job's not done yet. You need to monitor and evaluate the effectiveness of the policy over time to make sure that it's achieving its intended purpose and objectives and goals. And also, you may need to make adjustments based on feedback that you receive new scientific knowledge comes out, or there's new technological innovations, or the economic conditions have changed. Finally, I want to share a few important tips with you for developing climate policy. So the first is to stick with the science and the facts. Second is use crystal clear communication. Keeping things simple, not too complicated, and very clear goes a very long way. Be open and transparent about the process and the potential benefits and the risks associated with it. Designing a policy that's flexible and not super rigid or prescriptive can be really effective in the long term. Think outside the box. Don't limit yourself to what everyone has done before you. Don't be afraid to be creative. And my last tip is more policies and red tape isn't always the right answer to a problem. Sometimes revisiting something that's already been created and tweaking it can be a simpler, more effective change that takes less work than to create something completely from scratch and just adding more regulations and more red tape. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one. Leave me a comment down below about what questions you might have, and also if you have other topics you want me to cover in future videos. Thanks for watching.